Is a concept, but what makes an exercise an extra lesson exercise? That we could say, oh, we can take it in. What quality does it need? Because when you work with children, it's not necessarily so that you only do extra lesson exercises, of course. It couldn't be done. It's too little. Or the other thing is, you have a specific child, and you cannot bring the child doing the exercise as it is in the book right away. It's a path you need to go through. That makes teaching an art. Think of the right ankle triangle exercise. We spoke about it with the graduates. It says 3 times every movement. And then with all the limbs, you know the sequence. But sometimes you can't ask that. It's too much. How do you do it? But you need to know what you can change. I remember one colleague somewhere, I won't tell you who it is and where it was, that used the 3/4 spiral to change dominance. And I said, how did you do that then? And then I looked, she showed me, and I thought, my dear God, she doesn't know what's behind this exercise. Better take the snail trail. But she didn't know the snail trail. You know, then you start doing, you use the exercise in how do you say that? In a wrong way, and you even do harm. Then you do harm. Well, anyway. So what's basic to extra lesson exercises? And when you imprint this into yourself, then you can share and work together. And when you find something, the outer science, other people, other therapies, they can have a lot of things developed. And it might, sometimes you can take them. Sometimes you have to make a little change to make it an extra lesson exercise. So, what does an extra lesson exercise make? What does it, well, anyway, what's the quality of extra lesson? That's the question. Can we make a list?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I get you going. What? Do you have an idea?
Anchors the ego to the physical.
So, it anchors the ego, Mary Jo says. It anchors the ego. Could you be more specific? Is that okay? Or do you need you?
Yes.
Could you be more specific? Anchors the ego where, what, who?
Well, anchors the ego into the physical. The ego and the physical have a natural affinity to each other.
Yeah.
And so when you create the physical etheric vessel, when you connect.
Speak to the mouse here.
Oh. I can hear your heart. So when you, now I can't remember. Okay, so when you, where is it? So when you help, when you have the physical etheric in the proper movement, then the attraction of the ego to the astral body is able to occur. So the ego is able to insert itself
into the
in
physical.
a better way.
Yeah. So anchor the ego in the physical. That's in. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's one thing. And then you have to be specific. What's the physical? Because there can be misunderstanding as well. What's the physical body then, right? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so ego into the physical. And the next question is, what do you mean when you say physical body? And I was pretty clear about that, but review, Cynthia?
It's a structural body. Skeleton, muscle, nerves.
Yeah, that's more precise. So the skeleton and the nervous system, the architecture, and then of course the muscles that are connected with the skeleton. So it's the movement system and the nervous system. Sensory motor. It's actually that. Sensory motor integration, you could say so. Right? Do you agree? Yeah. So that's different from the constitution. So when you speak to the school doctor or the medical doctor, it's another aspect. Sorry?
We do have a school doctor here today.
Is he here?
Yes, he's right.
Oh yeah, he's here. I was looking for him. Hi. So that's another aspect of the physical, which is of course there. But then that's this differentiation between the structural and the constitutional. That it's not really the physical. It's what is at work in the physical, in the organs and so forth. It's not about the structure of the liver. It's not about the structure of the heart, but the function. And that's something different. You could say that of the skeleton as well. But that, well, anyway.
So we were working in the afternoon session on exactly that.
Yeah, good. But anyway, it's good to list it once more because it's important to imprint that into your concepts. So, structure. Versus constitution. And all that is belonging to the realm of the class teacher, working in the soul, working with the temperaments, working with the constitutional types in the pedagogical way. Like I said, large-headed, small-headed, earthly child, cosmic child, fantasy-rich, fantasy-poor, ego incarnated to deeply ingar, ego incarnated to loose. Yeah, that's the list. That is all belonging to the constitutional side. So anchoring the ego too deeply, it's impossible. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's no, are you not? Because there you have, when you speak to deeply incarnated ego, you speak about a constitutional aspect.
Oh, yeah.
So that's typology, what's the word? Typology, the ego too deeply incarnated or too loose incarnated. That's balance in teaching, last lecture. Yeah, you're with me, or no? Is that too quick? Yeah? Balance in teaching. Steiner speaks about the ego. Well, first lecture, study of men's foundations of human experience. There he says, what's the task of education? Bringing the soul spirit into connection with the body, life body. Yeah, these two. That you get the six-pointed star. Yeah, you got that? Six-pointed star as an image. And then they incarnate. So, and at the last lecture of the balance in, am I right, balance in teaching? No, I'm not right. Meditatively acquired knowledge of men.
It's the same.
Is that balance? Okay, balance in teaching. Then he speaks about this being the ego going too deeply into the body or not, or too loose. Yeah. So these two are related to one another. You can follow me? Yeah. But that's on a constitutional aspect. So there, when you speak of, let's say that the ego goes too deeply into matter, there you get this aspect of materialism. You know the Harley Davidson. No, I'm not judging, but anyway, well, let's say the soccer hooligans. They are in matter. The spiritual world doesn't exist. That, or the extremely not incarnated, living in the thinking theosophists, for instance. You know, they live in the starry world. Their ego is not here. That's in the soul. That's in the constitution. But anchoring the ego in the structure, in the nervous system, that's something different. To be more extreme, I think I've seen that I've seen a child that was too deeply incarnated, but not incarnated in the structure. You understand what I'm saying? So he had structural issues, improper first 7-year development, dominance issues, or whatever it was. That was one thing. So not incarnated into the structure, but deeply incarnated. And then you get this. Yeah, the problem is even worse. So yeah, Eileen.
I think that's the picture I see with those 20-year-olds I was talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
They're not tethered. They're not anchored. But head-wise.
They are. Yeah, exactly. So, but it makes it more difficult. But on the other hand, we need to learn to look at our students in different layers. Yeah. And if we don't do that and say, well, this is the structure, I see this. And this is what's happening in the soul. Can we look at the constitutional types? Yeah. What tendency do we see there? That's a layer. And what do we see in, well, that's the constitutional, let's say, also the bodily processes and so forth. What's happening in the soul? How is antipathy, sympathy? How is the threefold quality of the soul? Is it more to the will, or and so forth? How are the temperaments? Another layer. It's in between. It's something in the etheric, which is connected with the organs. You're seeing? And build up a picture of these children, of these students in these different layers. And I